It was a lovely day, by all measures. The staff were working hard to prepare for the evening's feast. I had some 150 servants of various kinds, gardeners, chefs, cleaners. The feast would cost me a Primarch's ransom, but secrets were worth more to me than anything else. Lords, ladies, and governors, they would all come to my feasts, and that was where I would see their true selves, the drugs and the debauchery. And it all went into my mind. That was what we did to each other. Then the alarm sounded, and everyone scattered, running from my home. In their haste and fear, they knocked down my great-great-grandfather from his chair. He had always been a proud man, but never arrogant. His retirement from the guard had earned him the money to start a small trading company. By the time of my birth, the company was interstellar. His hard work paid for my lifestyle. And he, I believe, hated it. I'd never raised a lasgun against the great foe. I'd lived in mansions and palaces all of my life. As the lords and ladies ran from the mansion, I saw the servants piling into the Golden Heart, my family's private orbital craft. I saw the face of a young girl, whose name I do not know. She was still clutching the silver platter she was holding when I yelled at her for walking too loudly in the halls. What a fool I am. After that I realised that my grandfather Geoffrey was still on the floor. You don't survive fighting traitor Astartes without getting the strength needed to crawl through blood and shrapnel. The alarm was still sounding. A calm, too calm woman's voice rang out.
This is a planet-wide Level 1 alarm. Unknown hostile Xenos life forms have been identified in system and are on course for this world. Please seek immediate off-world evacuation.
The klaxon behind her voice was so shrill it set my teeth on edge. Anyway, my grandfather had turned his quarters into a mix of an armory and an intelligence room. He went around, started filling the baths with water, and when I said I was not thirsty, he sneered. We spent 3 days inside, waiting for updates. And there were none. Just that same shrill alarm. Fool that I am. Contingency was never in my mind. There was barely any spare food. The banquet claimed it all, and the servants took the rest when they left off-world. With my ship. No emergency supplies. I had always thought myself over these lowly things. Of course, we could count on Grandpa's various preserved guard rations, but even they eventually gave out. Time for you to get your hands dirty. That's what he said to me as I got myself behind his chair, and with a hint of rage pushed him towards the exit of the mansion. Put yourself to good use. That's also what he said to me, so dryly as he handed me his old lasgun. It felt alien in my hands. He noticed that, of course, and winced as if I'd insulted our entire bloodline. Unless you'd rather be dinner. For weeks, I listened to him mutter curses, his gaze sharp as broken glass. However, if there is one thing I have inherited from old Geoffrey, it's his pride. His grin was a wicked thing as he pointed to the forest's edge. Naturally, I went. Stubborn, remember. And I started thinking, and thought that this might be too much for me. A recurring theme of mine. Grandpa noticed me slowing down in those early weeks. He would slam his fist against the chair and demand, "What are you waiting for? The enemy to find us? Get a move on." I kept going. I was being eaten from the inside by the idea of being found by whatever caused the alarm to be sounded. We eventually entered the forest together. It was so beautiful, so calm and perfect. My attempts at discretion were all foiled by the noise of dead branches snapping under Geoffrey's chair. But forward, always forward, as Geoffrey was wont to say. I was not even sure what I was looking for. I'd seen paintings of the animals before. Agile things with antlers and useless claws. Cannot even recall what they were called. But I know Princess Illith in the mansions kept them in her woods and gardens. I'd never hunted. Not once. Never wanted to. Why should I? Grandfather hit the chair again and pointed at the mud with the barrel of his weapon. There, for the Emperor's sake. Tracks! Of all the things I was not a tracker. I finally saw them. Gashes in the mud and dirt. I heard my grandfather's grunts of approval, for the first time in perhaps 10 years. Finally getting somewhere, you braggart. I did not grace his comments with a response. I stared around, trying to appear as if I knew what I was doing. When the twigs snapped, I raised the lasgun and pulled the trigger. Nothing happened, and the creature ran. The safety was on. It was headed that way, imbecile. Shoot it! He pointed straight ahead of him, expecting my inexperienced eyes to know where to look. The creature had gone, of course. So I grunted and got back behind the geriatric and started pushing again. I was not accustomed to such physical labour, much to my shame. I do not know how long we were in the first league of the woods. A day, perhaps. The number of times he would hiss through his teeth because he wanted me to pay attention to a detail gradually increased. He would point out a tuft of hair, a scratch mark on a tree, or even straight up excrement sometimes. I almost vomited once, but of course my stomach was too empty. That earned another of Geoffrey's famous hisses. On the wind, Grandfather caught the smell of smoke and told me that it was paint and wood ablaze. A mansion somewhere close. Every collision with the stone, every second lost to mud or a root, made Geoffrey's chair feel heavier. He eventually went silent. Sometimes he would look back at my hands, as if he wanted to say something, but he never did. That was when I heard it and saw tall antlers some 200 feet away. He did not sneer this time. He handed me the lasgun carefully. I looked at the weapon. I remember my hands shaking. "You've got one shot," Geoffrey whispered. "One light show before everything in the perimeter vanishes." I knelt. I can still feel the warmth of his hand over mine, guiding me. It was the first time he'd ever touched me that gently. The shadow of the elbow, son. You can do it. I aimed. That was the first time I ever killed anything. 3 more weeks passed of me pushing the chair, until it broke. And then I carried him despite him, telling me to leave him. How could I possibly do that? There was not much to say. We were almost a different species. But at night, by the fires, he would tell me of his friends who had died on distant worlds, and I would cry myself to sleep, thinking of all the times, all the years I'd wasted, never asking him about his life. He told me about my grandmother and father, secrets and forgiven slights and forgotten scorns. They all seemed like nothing at that point. I'm recording this because he told me that the evac is about a standard day away. We will head there tomorrow. So many of the mansions are not much more than rubble now and smoke. But we made it. I am worried. Grandfather's cough is getting worse. It sounds wet and heavy in his chest. The body was heavy in his arms, but he walked on, slowly, one foot in front of the other, as his grandfather had told him. He had long ago dropped everything he did not need, his Vox recorder, his leather gloves, even his rings, He crested a low rise and saw the glowing lights of the evacuation zone. Dozens of men and Astartes milled about, fitting a ship and pushing other survivors inside. Martin walked, his feet bleeding towards the front gates. The relaxed state of the guards did not register in his broken mind. He walked past dozens of men and stopped before a huge wall of ceramite. The blue plate shone in the dawn's light. Lower the body, my friend. It is over now. Martin looked through his red eyes into the face of the ultramarine. Good sir, this is my great-great-grandfather. Please let me take him off-world. He served the Emperor proudly as a member of the Guard. The ultramarine stared into Martin's eyes. Fine. He nodded to a soldier, and the soldier took Geoffrey from Martin's arms and walked into a lander. Martin's arms were numb from the weight, but ached in its absence. You are ultramarines. The Astartes nodded his head. Martin sobbed once, a single vast explosion of relief and exhaustion, though he had no tears anymore. They had gone with the rain in the night. Better, my lord? Martin did not understand. Was this man a Primarch? We are better than ultramarines. The blue-clad Astartes smiled, though his face seemed somehow off. Forgive me. I do not understand. We are better than ultramarines. We are no dogs of a blonde fake king, and we are not lapdogs to a false, rotten corpse the fools claim is a god. The ultramarine raised his hand to his face and peeled it off, revealing black eyes and skin the colour of milk. We are midnight-clad. Around Martin, the men and women laughed. Oh, do you not know us, Lord? We are Night Lords. That face was merely Gideon Arthur, an ultramarine, though he did not give it willingly. We? The traitor raised his arms in a motion that reminded Martin of his days in the theatre. Are sons of that fool that was Conrad Kurz, the Night Haunter, may he rest in fire and dust. You are ultramarines. The Night Lord smiled, showing a row of teeth, filed to cruel points and black as pitch. No, we just wear their skins where we find them. Oh, and their armour, of course. Why are you here? The world was shrinking to a pinpoint that hovered around the terrible, beautiful face that stood 5 feet taller than him. The Astartes laughed again, louder and crueler than before. You do not understand. We told all the lords and ladies of this world to run from their palaces, and only the strong survived. Martin thought of the mansions he had seen ablaze during his nights in the woods. You killed us. For nothing. No, my good sir. We killed the weakest amongst you, and the rest. He gestured to a line of prisoners still dressed in fine robes. Have earned their place as my servants, and will serve aboard my vessel, fair sister. Martin fell over, landing hard but not feeling it. You were a lord once, and now you are number 146, and you serve me. The Night Lord shuddered, and the glamour on his armour faded, revealing the plate to be pitted and rusted. I am Lord Silas the Drowner, Prince of the Night Lords. Welcome to my service. Martin looked at the woman now standing next to the Astartes.
Do you not recognise me?
She said, her brow furrowed in offence. It was you, he murmured, weak now, sick with betrayal.
This is a mandatory off-world order.
She broke into laughter, and the rest of the crowd followed.
Oh, don't worry.
I'll take good care of you.
The wretched woman smirked. Her face tattoos were in runes Martin did not know, though he soon would learn far, far too much about long-dead Nostromo and her damned children.